Sydney boys, rise up, okay? It is finally time. We are in this bitch. We have waited 12 years. Well, actually, I didn't really properly get into Crash until, like, you know, Insane Trilogy. I mean, I played Crash as a kid, but not as much as, you know, with Insane Trilogy. Like, I kind of grew up with, like, Wrath of Cortex, which they're kind of retconning now. And then I played, obviously, Crash Nitro Kart. And then Insane Trilogy, I went back and replayed the originals on emulator, and then I went and played Insane Trilogy, and then obviously Crash Team Racing on emulator, and then the remake, and yeah, so they people waited 12 years for a new game. I mean, it's clear, like, from the title, like, it's about time, because, you know, the game is about time, but it's also about time that we see a game, kind of wordplay, like, I mean, it's pretty blatantly obvious, but still I thought I'd point it out. But the point is, Crash is back, and this time he's got a brand new game called Crash 4. The trailer came out, it was hype. I recorded a reaction, but I'm not going to post that because I was a bit in a mood when I watched the trailer, so the reaction didn't come out well. Nothing to do with the game, of course. The game looks great. We're gonna get into that. I did cover a leak last week where they basically leaked the cover of the game, but of course we've got real information to talk about now, so we're gonna get into this. Now, just to summarize my quick thoughts on the trailer, it looks amazing. Like, everything just stands out. It just aesthetically is very pleasing to the eye. Like, it looks like Crash is gonna be in there doing the thing that he usually does. It doesn't look like it's straying too far away. It doesn't look like it's staying too similar to the originals. It feels like it's its own blend. Like, you've got that classic Crash gameplay. You got the running away from enemies from the behind camera. You've got the forward stuff, the platforming, the crates, the Wumpa fruit. Like, you got all those things. Then you got, like, new elements, like rail grinding and, like, running on the sides of walls and shit. Like, there's so much going on, and it's just, I'm so excited. Now, before the trailer came out, there were a lot of leaks, and I tried my best to not go through all of them because I didn't want to spoil myself for the trailer. I know, right? It sounds a bit pathetic. You know, this game is going to come out, we're going to play. But I looked at the screenshots, and I think the original leak had it such that the game was coming out October 9th. But then when the actual trailer came, the game was coming out October 2nd. So that definitely was, I guess, a slightly older trailer for whatever the screenshots leaked from that trailer. But it's nice to know that we're getting the game a little bit earlier. One of the major things that we noticed that were different is Crash has been completely redesigned. And a lot of people like the new design. Personally, I don't dislike it. I like the graphical updates of it, but I do think that the old design had more grit to it, which I personally preferred. I know that's an unpopular opinion, right? But just a certain grit that the old Crash design had that I just liked a lot more. Like, his overall shape, like, he just looks taller and leaner, like in the previous, like, Insane design. Whereas the newer design is like, he's a bit, like, his face is more squashed and looks more cartoony. Which, I mean, you're not really going to see him from the front too much. You're mostly going to be seeing him from the back. It's not too big of a deal. Now, as for Coco's redesign, I can hand on my heart tell you that I have got absolutely no problems with it. We got no problems with this shit. Cortex doesn't look like he's changed too much, so that's fine, obviously. And oh yeah, Cortex is playable in the game. Now, definitely wasn't playable in the first two. The third one I haven't played in quite some time, but I don't think he was. Apparently Cortex was playable in one of the later games, because I haven't played Wrath of Cortex since I was a kid. And there's other ones, there's what, Twin Sanity, I don't even know the names of the future games. I'm gonna have to do a huge catch up, like where I just stream all the Crash games before this comes out, you know, to warm up, you know what I mean, you know, build up, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, Cortex has got his own mechanics. It seems that Crash and Coco will be playing exactly the same, you know, they have the similar moveset. And apparently there's going to be new moves as well. Now, this YouTuber Canadian guy got an interview with Toys for Bob. I guess there's someone that works there who's prominent enough who can speak about this, and that gave us a bit more information about the game. For example, instead of the double jump that Crash and Coco will have, Cortex will have the ability to dash forward, like he's got a mini flight of sorts. And he's got a trans-modifying gun and the ability to shoot at hazards and convert them into platforms. One is a static platform and the second is a bouncy platform. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with these new mechanics. And it's not just Cortex who's got new mechanics. This interview also reveals that there's 4 masks that we're going to have to collect, and every time you get one of these masks, I think they're face masks, you get abilities for the character, kind of like in Crash 3, like when you beat an area you get a new ability. They said they're only revealing 2 abilities right now, but we'll find out about the rest, I guess, later. One of them gives you the ability to slow time down so that you can touch a nitro crate and there's still a small window of opportunity for you to get out of the way before it explodes, because you're watching it in ultra slow motion. So I guess a way to make that easier. And the second mask is a gravity mask, and it gives Crash the ability to flip the direction of gravity, so you can go upside down on walls, which that's gonna be some crazy shit for the level design. Like, so many ideas, so many elements. Like, the thing about any kind of platformer is that the moveset determines where the level design goes. If the character has a very simple moveset, there's only so much you can do with the level design to cater to a character with a limited moveset. When you start adding new moves, it adds variety, it adds things that you can change in level design, because you can do so many things that it can allow you, it can open up the possibilities of what you can do in levels. And when they initially revealed the trailer, they also had a little developer discussion there as well, and they were basically talking about how they wanted to stay true to the original, more linear, dense, focused roots of Crash, but still also experimenting with some open level design as well. So it was good to hear that they had that in mind, where they do want to keep that initial, like, because obviously with more linear games you can focus more on what's right in front of you, because the pressure to make a more open game means it's hard to fill everything up and it's packed. Whereas with a more linear game like early Crash, you can do that. It's focused, everything can be done in a certain way that just, you know, that path is going to work well, you know what I mean? So they're trying to do a little bit of a mix of both, which I like, because it means you can have slightly more open levels and slightly more linear levels instead of going too far in any one direction. So I definitely want to see how this is implemented when we get more gameplay. Looking at the screenshots, you can already tell that there's definitely levels that are going to be more linear and levels that are going to be more open, as well as levels that are going to be more experimental. For me, the most notable thing is still the environments. Like, if you look at the first two Crash games, like, they did what they could do with the hardware they had. It was on PS1, but these environments just look leagues ahead. Like, they just look so amazing. You can tell that they're really taking advantage of modern hardware today, because the way everything is coming out, it just stands apart so much from the original three, which that doesn't guarantee that it's going to be better, but it is giving me that kind of feeling like, wow, like, is it really going to be my favorite? Because before, my favorite was Crash 1. I know, unpopular opinion, right? And then after that, 3, then 2. But I'm looking at this one and I'm just thinking, wow, like, this has potential to be the best one. This honestly has potential to be the greatest Crash game. It's definitely going to be game of the year 2020. I mean, that's undisputed. Like, let's be real. Like, I fucks with Spider-Man. You know, I fucks with that. But I'm sorry, Crash is taking GOTY 2020. Once we get more information, I'll definitely be able to say for sure. But it's just really interesting to see where things are going. Crash is usually a bit more tough, as you know. It came from that era. And with Insane Trilogy, some reviewers were a bit mad that Crash was not changing, you know, to become easier for modern times, you know what I mean? Because it was a remake, it was very faithful to the originals. So it kind of hurt their scores a little bit, because they were like, they didn't change dated level design. You know, reviewers, they don't know how to play games, right?
In one section of the puzzle, all you need to do is stand on a button, and that button opens a gate for you to bowl a bubble into so you can progress. The only problem is that during SpongeBob's wind-up animation for bowling, he walks forward. That means you fall off of the button, which closes the gate and prevents you from bowling the bubble where you intended, when you intended. These kinds of gameplay barricades are common and force you to restart and face your demons again and again and again.
And it's good to know that based on what these developers are saying, they are not completely succumbing to that. Like, you can tell that the game is still going to have a lot of challenge. They have done a few things that are kind of catering to the reviews, but in a way that's not too invasive to those who want the challenge. Like, obviously, that ability I was talking about that allows you to not die from nitro, obviously that's something that seems like it's going to make the game a bit easier, but it's a minor. But this other thing is something we got to talk about, because I was watching the trailer and I didn't see any form of life show up on the screen. I was thinking maybe if they die then we'll see it, but I wasn't sure, and then they eventually came out and clarified it. So this tweet basically says, in Crash 4 you'll have two modes to choose from, modern and retro. Modern mode, if you die you get sent back to the latest checkpoint, no life's limit, and retro retains the original Crash experience. Collecting Wumpa nets you lives, and if you die enough times it is game over. And game over just means level over, really. Like, it's not like the 80s or 90s, like game over used to be game over. This is just level over, so don't get too scared. And there's some more information as well that was in one of the interviews, but basically if you die enough times, even on modern mode, you will not get a certain gem. There's a certain gem that they're going to put in place where if you die a certain amount of times on a level you do not get it, as a way to incentivize people to not die as much. They're still gonna have some kind of death counter for the modern mode. So it doesn't mean play like a reviewer and think you're gonna be golden. Like, if you still wanna get everything, you're gonna have to play well. And it kind of makes you wonder, like, what's gonna happen to the Wumpa Fruit? Because like in earlier platformers, you collect 100 or something, or a certain amount of something, you get lives. When you eliminate lives in these modern games, does it make the Wumpa Fruit not valuable anymore? Or are they gonna sell some kind of clothing items? Because I remember they said, like, if you pre-ordered, you got some clothes or something like that. So are they gonna just use the Wumpa Fruit for that? Because Super Mario Odyssey has no lives, but the coins still get you certain things in game. So they're gonna have to find some reason to, you know, keep that Wumpa Fruit if you want to use the modern mode. Because they were saying they were having debates in the office between keeping the legit life system from back in the day, the original retro method, or just doing a modern thing. So having the two there is definitely a good compromise. Although as much as I want to play the retro version, you know, there's gonna be temptation when you get to those hard levels. Like, fuck, let me change it. You know, it's beating me. The game is beating me. Let me change it quick. Shit, like, you know. But hopefully, once you set it for the game, that's it for the save file. So once you put on retro, you're stuck in retro. You know what I mean? So that way I can't back down from the challenge. Otherwise, you know, there's games where it's like you can change difficulty at any time. You just go in guns blazing on the hardest mode, and you basically only stay on that mode when you're doing easy shit. And the moment enemies show up, then you just move it down to easy. And it's like, you know what I mean? So either way, it's nice that they're having both options there. It does make it harder to stay faithful to retro. But, you know, in 2020, with these reviewers and how much they suck, it's good that they're doing it this way. Also, the game has been confirmed to be a full price $60 game. Now, if you don't remember, the Insane Trilogy, I think, was $40. Same with Crash Team Racing, which is about £30 or so. Or I think it's still £40. They don't even convert it anymore like they used to do that. It used to be $60, £40, and then the exchange rates got closer. So it's a full price game basically, which I hope they're not just making it full price because the game is, you know, new. Like, I really hope that the game is going to be decently lengthed. Like, I don't want it to be like a 2-hour experience like the initial games and it's like full price because it's, you know, it's not a remake. I really want it to be like a good amount of hours of content so that you feel like you're getting your money's worth. I don't know if there's going to be multiplayer or online multiplayer, but something that makes it feel like it's worth the full price tags. And of course, no microtransactions because we don't need that shit. CTR. I'll be fine with DLC if it warrants it, but, you know, definitely no microtransactions. Okay, so yeah, that's Crash 4. There's not really much else to say, but all we know is that it looks hype. Most people, I haven't really seen anyone that's not excited for this, like who likes Crash. Everyone seems to be excited for this. The company themselves are very confident about this. Like, they are basically retconning Wrath of Cortex and everything after it, essentially. Because even at the end of the trailer, they're like, how many times you beat this guy? And they're like, 3. Like, they'll talk about Cortex. And like, really, only 3? I thought it was more. Like, they are drilling it in that nothing else happened after Crash 3. It's after Crash 3, straight to this game. It continues the story, and it's a very cocky move to make. Because if you fuck up the game, then you basically retconned Wrath of Cortex for nothing. Because Wrath of Cortex was not the most well-received game, but it was also not like a hated game, like if you look at the review scores. So for them to be retconning it, they really have to outdo it. So you can tell their level of confidence is high if they're going to call it Crash 4. I don't know what the fuck Japan's going to do because they already called Wrath of Cortex Crash 4 officially on the cover. So maybe they'll just call it Crash It's About Time over there. I don't know. But I guess we'll find out. But yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. More content coming soon to the channel. Let me know what you guys think about this whole thing. Are you guys hyped? What do you want to see in the game? Are you hoping we get a PC port? They're gonna make us wait a year though. Let's be real. But yeah, man, 3.1k subs. We out here. We just hit 3k. We now hit 3.1k. Like, it's going insane right now. But yeah, man, it's your boy REMulous, Rem Gang, and I'm out.